You know, as we journey through life, our bodies, they naturally change. But what if I told you the key to feeling vibrant and strong after 60 isn't hiding in a medicine cabinet? What if it's been right in your kitchen all along? Today, we're going to explore exactly that, how some incredibly simple foods can help us reclaim our vitality. So here's our plan. First, we'll acknowledge the common changes our bodies go through after 60. Then, we'll dive into the amazing power hidden in everyday foods. We're talking about boosters for your brain and bones, and builders for strength and digestion. We'll even look at a special golden drink to help with pain and sleep. So, let's get started. All right, let's kick things off with something I think a lot of us can relate to. What really happens to our bodies after we hit that 60-year milestone? You know, it's a mix of these subtle little shifts, and then some that are, well, not so subtle. So does this sound familiar at all? That feeling that the energy you used to take for granted, it just isn't quite there anymore? I want you to know it is absolutely not just you. This is a really common experience for so many people in this chapter of life. Maybe it starts with just waking up already feeling tired, or those new aches that pop up in your knees and your back. Maybe you notice you get worn out from tasks that used to be easy, or you have more of those frustrating tip-of-the-tongue moments. Look, these aren't just random things happening. They're signals. They're your body's way of telling you that things are changing. But here's a powerful idea. What if the best response to these changes isn't found in a pill bottle, but in your pantry? Let's really explore that, because the power of what's already sitting in our kitchens is, honestly, profound. So this is the key takeaway. After 60, what our bodies are truly crying out for isn't always more medicine. It's better nutrition. And the most amazing part? The best sources for that nutrition? They're already in our homes. They're probably sitting in your kitchen right now, just waiting to be used. Just take a look at this comparison for a second. On one hand, you've got these expensive, often complicated supplements. But on the other, simple, affordable foods from your own kitchen. Foods that our bodies recognize and know exactly what to do with. This path to feeling better, it's accessible to every single one of us. Okay, so let's start our tour of the kitchen with two absolutely critical areas, our brain and our bones. We're about to look at some amazing foods that can nourish your mind and literally fortify your entire structure. First up, let's talk about soaked almonds. These are just incredible for the brain, thanks in large part to their vitamin E. But here's the real pro tip. Soaking them overnight and peeling off the skin makes a huge difference. It helps our bodies digest them and absorb all those amazing nutrients so much more easily. Just eating a few on an empty stomach in the morning can really sharpen your memory and focus. Next on our list, walnuts. You've probably heard them called brain food, and for good reason. They are just packed with omega-3s, which are so essential for keeping our brain's communication lines open and strong. But here's the cool part. They do double duty. Those exact same healthy fats also help lower bad cholesterol. And that, of course, is fantastic news for our heart. All right, now let's shift our focus to our bones. As we get older, keeping them strong is just non-negotiable. And sesame seeds are an absolute powerhouse for this. They're loaded with calcium, but also magnesium and phosphorus. And listen, this isn't just about trying to prevent fractures. These minerals also help fight that general feeling of fatigue and weakness. Okay, so we've talked about the body's framework. Now let's talk about its engine. We're going to look at some foods that help maintain our strength and, just as importantly, keep our digestive system running smoothly. Look, we all know protein is absolutely key for our muscles, and frankly, as we age, we need it more than ever. The problem is, sometimes heavy proteins can be tough on our digestive system, and that's exactly where light lentils, like masoor and mung, come in. They're packed with the protein we need to repair and rebuild muscle, but they're incredibly gentle on our system. Seriously, just one bowl a day can make a world of difference. Now let's talk about gut health. It is so fundamental to our overall well-being. Yogurt is a fantastic source of probiotics, you know, those friendly bacteria that keep our digestion humming along. But listen, here's a really important tip. It's best to have it with your lunch. For some people, eating it late at night can actually contribute to joint pain, so timing can be key. You know that feeling of weakness or even dizziness? A lot of times that can be a sign of low iron. And dried figs are a wonderful, natural way to tackle this. They're not only rich in iron to help boost your energy, but they've also got plenty of fiber to help with digestion. And here's that little trick again. Soaking 1 or 2 overnight makes them even more effective. Here's another one that gives you a fantastic 2-for-1 punch: beans and legumes. First, you get that high-quality, plant-based protein you need for muscle strength. And at the same time, you're getting a huge dose of fiber that actively helps lower your cholesterol. It's really a win for your muscles and a win for your heart. Okay, this next one is really specific but so important. If you or someone you know has ever experienced things like hand tremors or just a general feeling of nerve weakness, sunflower seeds can be incredibly helpful. They are just full of nutrients that directly support our entire neurological system. And you don't need a lot. All it takes is about 1 spoonful a day. And now for our final and perhaps my favorite item on the list. We're going to talk about a simple, warm, and wonderfully soothing drink that's been used for centuries. It's a timeless remedy for both pain and for restless nights. You've probably heard of golden milk. And believe me, it's called golden for a reason. It is a fantastic all-natural remedy for 2 of the biggest issues that can crop up as we age: inflammation, which leads to joint pain, and of course, trouble getting a good restful night's sleep. And the best part is, it is so easy to make. You just gently warm up a glass of milk, stir in about a half teaspoon of turmeric powder, and, this is crucial, add a tiny pinch of black pepper. Seriously, don't skip the pepper. It contains something called piperine, which dramatically helps your body absorb the powerful anti-inflammatory compounds in the turmeric. Drink it about a half an hour before bed, and it can really help you settle in for a restful night. So, there you have it. We've looked at the challenges, but more importantly, we have uncovered some really simple, incredibly powerful solutions. So now the question is, how do we put all this into practice? Let's talk about starting on your own path to feeling more vibrant. You know, this really gets to the heart of the whole matter. Lasting health and vitality aren't always found in a pharmacy. It's something we can build and nurture every single day with the choices we make about food. The real key, it might just be hiding in plain sight, right there in your kitchen. And remember, you don't have to do everything all at once. The journey to a more vibrant life really does start with just one small, simple change. So after everything we've talked about today, I have just one question for you. Which one of these will you add to your plate today?